Hello, it is Monday, October the 15th, the year 2012, and as usual, sports fans, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Let's start in the NFL. Let's start with the team with the best record. Let's start with the team with the only undefeated record, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons go to 6-0 yesterday at home in the Georgia Dome. They beat the Raiders 23-20 in a wild game. The Raiders dropped to 1-4. The Falcons continue to find ways to win. It's not always pretty with them. They always seem to find a way to win. 2 weeks ago against Carolina, they were trailing at the end. They found a way to win when Ryan hit the big pass down the sidelines, and then they had the field goal with no time left. Last week, they struggled against Washington. They found a way to win. Yesterday, they struggled. No running game. Oakland played hard. Palmer for Oakland threw for 353 yards. He had a nice game. Again, the game is tied at the end. Atlanta gets the big interception run back by Samuels down the sidelines. Atlanta goes up by 7. The Raiders come right down the field and tie the game at 20. And Atlanta, as they always do when you leave time on the clock for them, they get the ball back with 40 seconds left. They go right down the field and they kick a game-winning 55-yard field goal. And again, they pull it out. You have to love what you see with Atlanta this year. They're really gritty. They're tenacious. They're better on defense. They're pulling games out left and right. Their defense has improved. What I would like to see from them is more of a running game and more of a commitment to the running game. And Matt Ryan in the first half was not good. He threw 3 interceptions. But at the end of these games, Matt Ryan has a knack of pulling these games out. It's almost to the point where if you leave any time on the clock, Matt Ryan and the Falcons are going to find a way to win. So the Falcons get the job done again. They are 6-0. Raiders, like I said, 1-4. It's going to be a long year for the Raiders. They did play well enough to win yesterday. Let's move on to the next game. Cleveland 34, Cincinnati 24 at Cleveland. Cleveland gets their first win of the year. They go to 1-5. Cincinnati's now lost two games in a row. They're 3-3, not playing well. Cincinnati 4 turnovers yesterday. Dalton 3 interceptions, plus Dalton at the end of the first half. Didn't get the spike off in time. They left points on the board there. Cincinnati's defense, not great either. Cleveland, much improved the last few weeks. They were much improved against Baltimore on that Thursday night, even though they lost. They played better against the Giants, even though they lost. Whedon looks a lot better. Listen, we know it's going to be a long year for Cleveland. We know they're not going anywhere. They look better the last few weeks. They get the win here. And if you're a Bengal fan, you have to be concerned. This team was 3-1. I thought they'd be a decent team this year. I had them as one of my surprise teams. I had them with a winning record. And 2 games in a row, they have not looked good at all. And they play Pittsburgh next week, which is a huge game. The loser of that game is in big trouble. So Cincinnati, not liking what I'm seeing, the last couple of weeks. Cleveland improved the last 2 weeks. So Cleveland gets the W in front of the dog pound in Cleveland. All right, moving on. Let's get to the next game. Miami Dolphins at home 17, St. Louis Rams 14. Dolphins go to 3-3, Rams drop to 3-3. This is an interesting game because the first few weeks, Miami probably deserved a better fate than they had. Miami probably deserved a few more wins than they had. They played well in every game, and they just came up short at the end. In this game, St. Louis had the better of the play most of the game. You look at the total yards. Rams had 462 total yards, and the Dolphins 192. You look at those numbers, and you're like, the Rams won, right? No, the Dolphins pulled this game out. I mean, the Rams, 12 penalties for 94 yards. That's not going to get the job done on the road. St. Louis misses 3 field goals, which contributes to their loss. Tannehill, 21 of 29 for the Dolphins, 185 yards. He continues to impress. Bradford had 315 yards for the Rams. He looked good, but the Rams shot themselves in the foot time and time again. Like I said, they had to settle for 3 field goals. They missed 3 field goals. And then all these penalties left and right. So the Dolphins pull out a win that they probably didn't deserve. The Rams had the better of the play. Both teams very improved this year. Rams much improved, playing hard for Fisher. Defense playing hard. They need a few more weapons on offense, but I like what I'm seeing from the Rams, and I really like what I'm seeing from the Dolphins with Tannehill, and they are playing hard as well. So 2 teams that we thought were going to be real dogs this year, very competitive. Dolphins get the win. All right, let's move on to the next game. In the Meadowlands, the Jets 35, the Colts 9. The Jets go up to 3-3. The Colts drop to 2-3. The Colts are not going to travel well this year. They're not going to be a good road team. They had the emotional win at home last week against Green Bay. Luck looked like a rookie yesterday, 2 interceptions. The Colts had 4 turnovers. I mean, they looked emotionally drained from the Green Bay win. Sanchez didn't have to do much for the Jets yesterday. What do you have, 82 yards passing? But the Jets' running game, the Jets outrushed the Colts 252-41, and Sean Green had 161 yards rushing. Where has this been all year? This came out of nowhere. This was all Jets, all day, all the time. Jets dominated this game from pillar to post. Colts looked like they left their game, back a week ago against the Packers. And the Jets did a nice job. I mean, the Jets actually played a decent game against Houston on Monday night, and they come back and just demolish the Colts. So a nice job by the Jets. I still think the Jets are going to be an 8-8 team. They do get a nice win here. And like I said, the Colts will play well at home this year. They're not going to travel well. I mean, not with the rookie quarterback. They're just not built to travel on the road well. Let's move on to the next game. Lions 26, Eagles 23 in Philadelphia in overtime. The Lions saved their season. They were about to go to 1-4. They get the win. They go to 2-3. The Eagles drop to 3-3. And this is after all the games the Eagles pulled out. They're only 3-3. You continue to just scratch your head at the Eagles. 3 turnovers again for them. Michael Vick, another 2 interceptions. And you're just scratching your head with the Eagles. I mean, time after time after time, week after week, the turnovers, Vic running around, turning the ball over, just a complete mess for the Eagles. I mean, we know they have talent, but they just have to stop shooting themselves in the foot. And the Lions, they actually showed me something here. They tie the game late. They were down 10 in the fourth quarter. They win it in overtime. I mean, the Eagles got the ball first in overtime. Lions get a couple of sacks to drive the Eagles back. Eagles have to punt from their end zone. Lions take over at midfield. They get down there. Hansen hits a 45-yarder to win it, and the Lions, who I've been on the Lions this year. I've been saying they've been a bad team this year. The Lions showed me something here. Now they have to do more. They're only 2-3 in a tough division. They saved their season here. They really did. They could have been 1-4 and out of this whole thing already. Saved their season. Good road win for Detroit. They needed it. They got it. They need to build off of it. The Eagles, they're 3-3. All right, it's not terrible, but you expect more from this team with the talent they have. They have to get it going. And first and foremost, don't turn the ball over. Start there, and the Eagles will improve their chances dramatically. Let's move on to Tampa Bay down in Florida. Tampa Bay 38, Kansas City 10. Tampa Bay, who's played hard all year, goes to 2-3. Kansas City, who's been a miserable dog the whole year, goes to 1-5. Kansas City has no defense. They have no heart. Castle is out with the concussion. Brady Quinn is not a good quarterback. He had 2 picks. They had no rushing game. The offensive line is in shambles. Romeo Crennel is doing an awful job with this Chief team. This Chief team was not a bad team last year. They shouldn't be this bad this year. They are an atrocious dog to watch. They lost to Tampa Bay 38-10. Tampa Bay! I mean, and every week the Chiefs do something that you just scratch your head at. Turnovers here. Fumbles there. Bizarre plays all over the place. Defense can't stop anyone. I am so down on the Kansas City Chiefs. As a matter of fact, right now, with Detroit winning and Cleveland winning, I am probably the most down of any team in the NFL on the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the biggest dog this year. I am shocked how bad they're playing. And Romeo Crennel, I can't believe that you can't get a better effort out of your team than this. Awful job by Kansas City. Nice job by Tampa. They're playing hard for the coach. They play hard every week. They've been in just about every game. Like what I'm seeing from Tampa. I just do not like what I see at all from Kansas City. Let's move on to another wild game in Baltimore. Baltimore 31, Dallas 29. Baltimore finds a way to win again. They're 5-1. Dallas, as usual, finds a way to lose. They're 2-3. Dallas actually hung in this game. They moved the ball all day. They get to within 31-29. They go for 2. Des Bryant drops the ball in the end zone. Then Dallas goes for the onside kick. They get it. They get in long field goal range. They miss the game-winning field goal. Ravens hold on. Dallas, another heartbreaking loss. What else is new? Dallas will find a way to lose any chance they get. Two bad things for Baltimore here. They did get the win, but they lose their fine cornerback Webb with a torn ACL. He's out for the year. Big loss. And Ray Lewis possibly gone for the year with the torn tricep muscle. So even though Baltimore won and they are 5-1, they do lose two key players. And Baltimore is not the same team they used to be. They used to be a defensive team that couldn't score. Now they're an offensive team that has trouble stopping people. I mean, they could be physical in their own building and they still could be a handful. They still get turnovers. Ed Reed is always dangerous back there. They are an offensive team now, Baltimore. So two big losses on defense for them. And Dallas once again finds a way to lose, and they are now in last place again in the NFC East. And here we go again with the Dallas Cowboys. And Jason Garrett, I mean, he's got to prove he can coach here. Romo's got to prove he can get it done in a big spot, because once again, the Cowboys, when the game is right there to be taken, the Cowboys fall flat on their face. Let's move on to the next game. Out in the desert, out in Arizona, Buffalo 19. Arizona 16. This was a very, very good win for Buffalo. Buffalo goes to 3-3. Arizona goes to 4-2. Arizona Philly, a 61-yard field goal with 1:09 left. Then we go to overtime. Buffalo punts. Arizona throws an interception. Skelton was in for Cobb, who got hurt. Buffalo hits the game-winning field goal, from 25 yards out. Nice job by Buffalo getting a road win. They definitely needed it. If Buffalo lost at 2-4, we're going, here we go again with Buffalo. They get the win. They're 3-3. They needed it. Arizona losing a little magic here as of late. They're 4-2. Still a nice record. I still like their defense. They need a little more from their quarterback, whether it be Skelton or Cobb. They have Fitzgerald as receiver, not getting much from the running game. So we'll keep an eye on Arizona. They still have a decent record at 4-2, and I do like their defense. But this was a nice job by Buffalo going across the country and getting a win. All right, let's move on to Seattle. Seattle at home, 24. New England, 23. Seattle goes to 4-2. New England drops to 3-3. That's the third straight loss New England has had that they could have won. They should have won the Baltimore game. They lost. They could have won the Arizona game. They missed the field goal at the end. New England had this game in the bag. 23-10 in the fourth quarter. They got conservative. They let it slip away. Brady, they leaves points on the board in the first half with a bad intentional grounding play. And Seattle at home has this magic. You saw it against Green Bay, even though they should have lost. Seattle is the best home team in the league. Those are some of the best fans in the world. It's always rainy out there. This was Russell Wilson's coming out party. He had a very good game. Didn't turn the ball over. 3 touchdowns. Had the two big touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I was calling for Matt Flynn last week. I was saying, how do you waste these defensive efforts Seattle's giving you having these bad performances at quarterback? Russell Wilson heard me. He went out there and played a tremendous game. In many ways, you could say he outplayed Brady. He definitely outplayed him. He didn't turn the ball over. Brady turned the ball over twice. So Russell Wilson, and then Russell Wilson to Sidney Rice with 1:18 left, a big 46-yard touchdown pass. I don't know how he gets behind the New England defense there. Great win by Seattle. Terrible loss by New England, and New England is going to have to start getting their act together. They're only 3-3. I know it's a long season, but my goodness, and their defense, who I thought would be better this year, they can't get a big stop in the end. So great job by Seattle again with a nice win. Like I said, they're 4-2. New England are very disappointing, 3-3. Let's move on to Washington, the nation's capital. Washington 38, Minnesota 26. Washington goes to 3-3. Minnesota drops to 4-2. Minnesota was due for a loss. They're the surprise team of the year. They won 3 games last year. They have 4 wins this year. They would do a bad game. They got it here. 3 turnovers by Minnesota. Washington only had 1. Once again, Robert Griffin III. I mean, he just continues to amaze you. He has that nice 76-yard rushing touchdown down the sidelines where he's high-stepping. He's just got this pizzazz. He just has it. He's going to be a great quarterback. I think Luck as well for Indianapolis will be good. I like what I see from Tannehill with Miami. You got a lot of good young quarterbacks in the league coming up, but you got to love what Robert Griffin III does. I mean, he keeps you in every game. Washington has been so competitive this year. They don't have a great offensive line. They don't have great weapons. They don't have great backs. They don't have a great defense. They're 3-3. Robert Griffin, coming off a concussion last week, comes back and he's high-stepping down the sidelines for 76 yards. You got to love the flair by the young man. So nice job by Washington. They're having a decent season. Good job by Shanahan getting them ready to play as well. Minnesota was due a loss. They're still having a nice year. They're 4-2. You can't expect them, to keep winning every single game. Let's move on to San Francisco. Giants 26, Niners 3. Giants go to 4-2. Niners drop to 4-2. This was a complete beating from start to finish, a game I'm shocked about. The Niners, after losing to the Giants last year in the playoffs out there, come up with a complete dud. The Giants just demolished them. San Francisco, 3 turnovers. Alex Smith, 3 interceptions. Rushing. Giants outrushed the Niners like 150-80. Giants 6 sacks, Niners 0. This is in San Francisco, mind you. I mean, the Giants, you see it all the time. The Giants can beat any team, anywhere, any which way. It doesn't matter where you're playing. You can play on the moon. When the Giants bring their A game, they can beat anybody. That's why they have 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. That's why they're a threat this year, even with the Super Bowl hangover, even with the tough schedule. And San Francisco, we all anointed them like they're going to be one of the best teams in the league. They got a great chance for the Super Bowl. I still like them. I don't like some of the things I've seen here, especially offensively. I mean, Minnesota pushed them around, and now the Giants pushed them around in their own building. Very alarming for San Francisco. So, like I said, they dropped to 4-2. Giants up to 4-2. Tremendous job by the New York Giants yesterday. Let's move on to the Sunday night game. Green Bay 42, Houston 24 in Houston. Green Bay goes to 3-3. Houston drops to 5-1, their first loss of the year. Green Bay needed this game. They couldn't drop to 2-4 in a tough division. They showed that they're not ready to go away yet. Aaron Rodgers was amazing yesterday. 6 touchdown passes. Houston was due a loss here. They're undefeated. They lost Kuching last week. They didn't play their best game. They were kind of ambushed here. Green Bay just completely ambushed them. Houston had 3 turnovers. This was all Green Bay all the time. Little concerning from a Houston standpoint. I know it's their only loss. We're going to give them a break. It's 1 loss. I haven't liked what I've seen from them the last couple of weeks. I didn't even like the way they played against the Jets. Something's a little off, and they lost Cushing, who's a big loss on defense. People are saying Johnson, the receiver's getting a little long in the tooth. So I'm not liking what I'm seeing from Houston. I still think they're a very good team. I still think they're a threat to get to the Super Bowl. I did not like what I saw this week or the game against the Jets. They're due a loss. We're going to give them a slide. This was all about Green Bay. They needed this game. They showed the world we're not going away just yet. Excellent job by Green Bay. Excellent job by Rodgers. They get the win there. All right, just to touch on the Thursday night game, Tennessee at home beat the Steelers 26-23. Tennessee goes to 2-4. Steelers drop to 2-3. Once again, the Steelers can't hold the lead. Once again, they can't get a big stop on the road. Denver, they had a lead in the fourth quarter, lost. Oakland, they had a lead of 10 points in the fourth quarter, lost. Up 7 against Tennessee in the fourth quarter, lost. So they're 0-3 on the road. It's just too many injuries, too many defensive breakdowns. The Steelers better get their act together and better get it together quick. They're in Cincinnati for the Sunday night game. I'll tell you what, the Steelers go to 2-4 and lose another road game. It's going to be a long year for them. They need this win against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's going to be a desperate team too. The Steelers have found just numerous ways to lose on the road. I don't like what I'm seeing from their defense at all. And every time you watch a Steeler game, there's so many guys going off the field with injuries, whether it's, Palomalo or Harrison or Woodley or everyone on the offensive line. Their running backs, Mendenhall, Redmond, every week somebody's being taken off the field. It's just ridiculous. Steelers need to get healthy. Steelers need to get their act together, especially on the road and especially defensively. Obviously need Woodley and Palomalo back. Who knows when Palomalo is going to be back? This injury seems to be lingering on and on all the time. Woodley had the hamstring problem last year. He might play next week. Who knows? Terrible job by Pittsburgh. Nice job by Tennessee getting a home win. Tonight, interesting game. Denver at San Diego. Denver's 2-3. They've had a tough schedule. San Diego's 3-2. They look more organized. They're home tonight. This is a very interesting game because, if Denver wins, both teams 3-3, tied for the division. San Diego could separate themselves a little bit in the West. They can go to 4-2, put Denver 2 games behind, forget Kansas City, they're not going anywhere out there. Forget Oakland, they're not going anywhere out there. Very interesting game here tonight, so definitely keep an eye on that. Real quick, I wanted to touch on the college football real quick. LSU had a big home win, 23-21 against South Carolina. A game they had to have. They couldn't lose 2 games in a row and expect to compete for the national title. South Carolina can still get in it if They beat Florida this week. At Florida won't be easy. Texas Tech at home beat West Virginia 49-14. That was a shocking game. Texas Tech just got blown out by Oklahoma, and West Virginia had that huge win at Texas last week. West Virginia 14 points. What did they average? Like 56 points? The West Virginia was blaming the wind in Lubbock on the game. You can't blame the wind when the other team and the other quarterback go crazy and put up 49 points on you. You just look like you're just making up excuses. We know West Virginia can be a soft team, especially on defense. They were soft here. They get blown out. Alabama, the number one team, no problem. Again, they go into Missouri, demolish Missouri. Alabama looks head and shoulders over everybody else. Notre Dame at home hung on and beat Stanford 20-13. Controversial goal line play at the end. Looked like the Stanford guy never touched the ground. He got in the end zone. I don't know if the whistle blew or they couldn't determine if he got in. He fumbled at the end. To me, it looked like he never went down and he got in. I don't know when they blew the whistle. The whole thing was muddled at the end. Notre Dame, gets the win. They stay undefeated with the nice goal line stand there. Tough break for Stanford. Oregon State stays undefeated. They go into BYU with a backup quarterback, and they beat BYU. Oregon State's a great story this year. They're undefeated. Ohio State also stays undefeated. They beat Indiana 52-49, a wild shootout. Ohio State can't go anywhere because of probation, so the regular season means everything to them. They are undefeated. Kansas State stays undefeated. Unbelievable job by them again. Unbelievable job by the coach. I mean, he just does such a great job with this team. They go to Iowa State, who's not a pushover, and they beat Iowa State 27-21. K-State undefeated. Louisville, Cincinnati, and Rutgers all in the Big East, all undefeated. We know they have a light schedule. Keep an eye on those teams, though. Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Oklahoma 63, Texas 21. What in the world is Texas doing? That's 2 in a row they lost. They should have lost 3 in a row. They should have lost to Oklahoma State. They got a gift at the goal line there. Texas is too good for this. Texas is way too good for this. You can't play Oklahoma 2 years in a row and lose this to by a score like this, 63-21. I mean, Matt Brown, you have a couple more performances like this and they're going to show you the door. Terrible job by Texas. Nice job by Oklahoma, but I am so down on Texas. Just an awful job. Florida stays undefeated. They beat Vanderbilt. Florida has the big game against South Carolina this week at home in the Swamp. And Mississippi State stays unbeaten. They beat Tennessee. Alabama against Tennessee this week. That's the third Saturday every October they play that game. And that's always an interesting game. I'm going to touch on that game later in the week. Don't sleep on that game. Alabama's a huge favorite. That game's usually closer than it is. Real quick in the baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals continue to do it last night. They go up 1-0. They beat the Giants 6-4 out in San Francisco. What else is new? Beltran hits a home run. St. Louis in the postseason, unbelievable. You just can't kill this team. Last year in the World Series, Texas was ready to pop the champagne a couple times. St. Louis ends up coming back a bunch of times on them winning the World Series. This year they sneak into the playoffs. They win the wild card game. They're all but dead against the Nationals. They're down 6-0 and then 7-5 in the ninth inning. They come all the way back. They get 4 runs against the Nationals, beat them, stun the fans in Washington, and now here they go, first game, and they beat San Francisco on the road. St. Louis, unbelievable, and they're doing this without Albert Pujols. St. Louis, just an unbelievable baseball town. Unbelievable fans, and they are a gritty, gritty team. And keep in mind, they don't have Tony La Russa as a manager anymore, but they just keep doing it. And then you have the Yankees. I mean, Detroit Tigers up 2-0 in the series. The Yankees can't hit. They lose Jeter with the broken ankle. I mean, A-Rod, Cano, Granderson, Swisher, all in a funk. All can't get a hit. The Yankees get shut out at home. There was an awful play at second base. Second place umpire called the Detroit Tiger guy safe when he was out by 10 feet. I think they need more replay in baseball. That's not why the Yankees lost, though. The Yankees cannot get a hit. I mean, they have been getting great pitching. They cannot get a hit. And more importantly, they can't get a hit in a big spot. And more importantly, if they don't hit a home run, they don't score. If Granderson doesn't hit a home run, he doesn't get a hit. Swisher can't get a hit at all. He can't hit good pitching. He's going to be gone after this year. A-Rod's a complete mess. He's always been a mess in the postseason, with the exception of 2009. I don't know if his hip is bothering or what the story is. Now Cano is in a funk. You could always count on Cano. Now he's not hitting. I mean, I don't know what you do with this situation. I really don't. And then the Yankees have to face Verlander, plus 3 games in Detroit. Not looking good for the Yankees at all. But if there's ever a team that could do it, it's the Yankees. If these guys get hot, you can't count them out. So tonight, definitely keep an eye on baseball. National League Game 2. You have the Cardinals and the Giants. Game 2 there. It's a night off for the American League. And the big Monday night game. Denver and Peyton Manning go to San Diego and Phillip Rivers. That's a very interesting game to watch. Very intriguing game. So we'll keep an eye on that. Tomorrow we're going to touch on the Monday Night Football, what happened there. We're going to touch on the baseball. We'll touch on the Yankees. Maybe I'll throw in a little college football, anything else going on in the sports world. So you guys have a great day. Enjoy the Monday night game. Enjoy the baseball. Stay safe. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.